Featherweight that has not lost Mahmoud Muradov was furious with Dana White. Without holding back, he blasted Dana for attempting to ruin his chances of winning a title on purpose. He made it apparent that he thought White had no regard for him by accusing the UFC president of being cunning and deliberately attempting to prevent him from becoming the best. Evloev went on to drop a bombshell about his fight with Arnold Allen, which he won by unanimous decision. He claimed that Dan Lambert, the owner of the American Top Team, was sitting next to Dana and later informed him that White wasn't even watching. Instead, he was too busy watching an American football game, acting as though Evo's fight didn't even exist. Mizer then accused Dana of betting on other sports while seated Khajaid at his own event, further asserting that Dana is only interested in making the most money. Lately, Mizer has stepped up his trash talk game by calling out former champion Ilia Tapua and boldly making fun of Dana White, despite White's incredible skill and fighting ability. For most fans, the undefeated Russian fighting style is still unimpressive. For some reason, Dana consistently brushes me off. He is quite cunning. He knows that I am so close to winning the crown. Therefore, he is attempting to downplay my aspirations at this time. After my fight with Arnold Allen, I spoke with Dan Lambert, the owner of the American Top Team, and he told me, "Mobster, I was sitting right next to Dana during your fight, and he was watching an American football game. He probably placed a bet on some football game. I don't know, man. I actually believe he missed my entire fight because of that. Maybe he paid some attention to my fight when the referee stopped me for illegal punches at the very last minute of the fight. But other than that, he missed all my grappling exchanges and pretty much everything I did. He said something along the lines of, 'It wasn't the most fun fight of the night, but you know I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to take the belt. I will take the belt, I promise you, Cha.' Sonnen thinks Alex Pereira versus Jon Jones may be a challenging match, particularly after Pereira's better wrestling performance against Magomed Ankalaev at UFC 313. Although the excitement around a possible Jones fight was dashed by Pereira's unanimous decision loss to the Dagestani, Cha still believes Pereira has potential. The Brazilian's wrestling defense was one of the fight's main positives, according to Sonnen. By successfully blocking all 12 of Analia's takedown attempts, Pereira demonstrated a notable development in his ground game that allayed skeptics who had previously questioned his capacity to hold his own against elite wrestlers. He thinks that this battle has demonstrated that Pereira's defensive abilities have advanced to the point where wrestlers no longer find him an easy target. Anali's strategy of relying on defeating Pereira didn't work out, proving that the former champion can withstand pressure and stand up to elite wrestlers. Despite the setback, Pereira's development as a fighter gives fans around the world optimism, and he might succeed in his rematch with Analia if he makes a few adjustments to his strategy.
Alex is supposed to be somebody that you can go take down and beat up, particularly if you got a wrestling background, particularly if you got a wrestling background from Dagestan. That's the story. He never went down once. He showed takedown defense. As a matter of fact, you don't get very far when you start talking about Alex Pierre versus Jon Jones. You just don't get there because we know that Jon can throw him down and beat him up. Like, that's just something that Jon does so well. He can throw people down and then beat them up. Well, you go watch this fight and you go, well, hey, you know what? It turns out that old Alex Pierre ain't so easy to take down. It was really interesting. Alex Pierre really showed some stuff. That entire narrative that he can't wrestle and he can't defend is now gone. Is Ankalaev a man of his word? Does he get credit? Because his words were that I'm going to stand up and I'm going to kickbox with him. I'm going to beat him in the stand-up. That's exactly what he did. But he tried to take him down. Does Ankalaev get credit for being a man of his word? Because what he said he was going to do is exactly what happened. But the intent was something else, wasn't it?
Shan Strickland revealed some fascinating insights regarding his backstage meeting with Jon Jones and his brothers at UFC 309. Following Jones's victory over Stipe during his most recent podcast episode. Backstage, where Jon was with his brothers, Strickland revealed he bumped into the trio who were glaring at him and apparently attempting to agitate him. Though things didn't get any worse, Strickland sensed the tension and gave a hint that they were trying to start anything. Given the intensity that accompanied their brief interaction, the incident appeared to exacerbate Strickland's already developing resentment toward Jones. Yet, the drama didn't stop there. Strickland attacked Jon Jones, pointing out his prior criminal history and branding him a false Christian. He blasted the champion for creating a benign picture of redemption, arguing that his transgressions, spanning from DUIs to domestic abuse claims, don't correspond with the persona he tries to create. The former champion even suggested that Jones uses his faith as a cloak to conceal his transgressions. Sean found it impossible to overlook the stark discrepancy between Jones's public persona and private conduct. This current outburst is just another chapter in Strickland's outspoken persona. As a fighter, he has never shied away from controversy.
If I had to sculpt somebody, you could not build a better athlete for fighting than Jon Jones. Minus the coke and smacking pregnant women, and then steroids and, minus all that, the steroids, and smacking pregnant women and bro. I heard he's a really nice guy.
Oh, great. He was great to me.
Unless you're in a Vegas hotel. It makes you laugh, dude. I was at a fight and we fought. And I think he had a brother or dad and they're just sitting there mad dogging me. And I'm like, bro, why are you guys mad at me? Did I hit the pregnant? No. Did I smack his wife? No. Did I do the drugs? No, dude. Why I go so hard on him? If he were to just be like, guys, I'm a piece of shit. I try not to be, but I'm a piece of shit. Then I'd be like, but he tries a Trojan horse, dude. He talks about God and as he's doing coke off a stripper. Like, be the fucking villain, bro. Yeah. You are a villain. You are not a good man. You are not a decent man. You are a piece of who is one of the best fighters in the world. Next time you hit a pregnant chick, bro, just drive faster.
Kamza Chamai is called out by Kio Balo. During his latest interview on the Jackson podcast, the Brazilian middleweight made headlines by declaring that he is willing to fight anyone for a chance to win the UFC middleweight title, even if it meant facing his old training partner Kamzat. Instead of just dismissing the challenge, Kio provided particular justifications for his belief that he has an edge over the unbeaten Chin. He said he gained a lot of knowledge about Shab's fighting technique and style during their time training. Together in Sweden and Las Vegas, he stayed with him for a few weeks, closely observing his strategies and how he controls his opponents. Despite aiding Kamat in his preparations, the Brazilian fighter thinks that his deep understanding of his system could give him the advantage in a future battle. He was always observing and studying, Balo explained, gathering useful ideas into how to counter Bor Alo, the unbeaten Chin's aggressive call-out opponent, has boldly put himself in the ring for a big middleweight fight, believing that his knowledge of Shim's style could give him a big edge if they ever fight in the UFC. I believe that my extensive study of him has given me an advantage. During training, I was listening. In addition, I was undoubtedly assisting him, but I was also keeping an eye on everything. Finish the quote. That's all MMA Psycho has to say. Thank you for viewing. Remember to hit the like button. Get daily MMA news music by subscribing.